This is a Stock Trading Reality Podcast, episode 195.
You know what I mean? If you're just going to go into the market half-assed and, you don't really know what's going on and you don't really know what you're doing, then that's the kind of results you're going to get.
This is the Stock Trading Reality Podcast, where you get to see the realistic side of a trader's journey. Get inspired and stay motivated by everyday normal people who are currently on their journey to trading success. And this is your host. He wishes more people would learn the difference between appreciating and depreciating assets. Clay Trader.
Yes, this is definitely something that I feel a lot of people are not aware of. And the quicker you are made aware of the difference between appreciating and depreciating assets, the better off you will be. The name of the game is to build wealth, not in a greedy way, but just in a financially responsible way. You want to build wealth so that later on in years, you either can have a great retirement, you can help other people out, you don't have to mooch off your kids. I mean, there's many noble things about simply having a plan in order to build wealth for your later years. And one of those key components is definitely appreciating versus depreciating assets and understanding how all that works. Ches and I, we're definitely cut from the same cloth as far as personal finances, all that sort of stuff is concerned. So, but I don't want to speak for him. I don't want to assume, but I guess I am assuming, Ches, that you do agree that people should probably know the difference between these two.
Yeah, they definitely should, and also a wise investment choice is buying brand new Cadillacs off the lot, just right off the lot, brand new next year's model. So that's a good way to invest. But no, seriously, yes, I absolutely know the difference, and people should know the difference. I think there's smart ways to go about certain depreciating assets. We could talk about that a little bit if you want, but otherwise, for the most part, in terms of long-term growth, you need to look for things that appreciate versus depreciate. That's for sure.
Yes, there's always nooks and crannies and gray areas and little things that can be done in very responsible ways. But yes, the core point is over time, you want things that genuinely go up. Although the one critique I will offer of Ches is, Ches, you forgot to say you also do not negotiate for that Cadillac. You pay whatever the sticker price is.
You pay sticker, and if they want to throw on extras that are above sticker, you take everything. You get it fully loaded, and you want to essentially have the most expensive Cadillac you could buy that immediately loses like 10% value the minute it touches the pavement. So yes, that's what you're going for.
And fully loaded means all the warranties, anything that they try to sell you, you say, I'll take double that. I mean, is what I'm
headlight
understanding
fluid,
you.
I'd like 10 years worth of headlight fluid, please.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, buy the pallet, please. But
yes,
I agree. That is definitely how you go about and build long-term wealth. And I feel like in that case, as soon as you drove off the lot, like you as a person would probably just go puff, just like the value of your money, just, because what are they? I forget what the stat is, but as soon as you drive it off that lot, it's literally like just poof.
Yeah, I forgot what percent it is. It's the minute it rolls off the curb of their property. But and just for context for listeners out there, we're not saying you can't buy anything that depreciates, because there's just part of life is having things that are going to depreciate. There are smart ways to go about it, and just for a short example, just so people know that I am still a cool, hip, fun guy, and I'm not just super old yet. I bought a used motorcycle, and I knew how old I wanted it and whatnot. And that motor, I sold it after 5 years. In the 5 years I had it, it only lost $400 of value. But I knew that kind of going into it. So for 5 years of fun, me personally, that was a hobby of mine. That cost me only $400 over 5 years. Remember, I didn't buy this brand new. I didn't do silly things like that. But yes, you definitely need to know what types of items and things like that are going to depreciate heavily at the start or kind of more towards the end. But yeah, it's extremely important in terms of investing for sure.
No, absolutely. And, the good news is all of this you can learn how to do. I mean, it's not like no calculus degrees are required. You don't have to be a mathematician or anything like that. But yeah, definitely learn how to do those personal finances. It matters. I'll just leave it at that. Today tonight or this morning or middle of the night, I don't know when you're listening to this, but we're bringing back Nate Wilson. And I guess I offer up some context within after kind of during the introduction. But a couple of things. First off, if you notice, maybe Ches, he does not have a cold. As of the recording of this, it's almost Thanksgiving time. So he has traveled across country, and a little miscommunication where he thought he was going to have a mic, but he didn't. So he's kind of on not the Ches mic.
Sniffle mic. I'm going to call it the
sniffle mic. Yeah. So Ches, but we promise this will be a very temporary thing. But yeah, it's not like it's terrible. And then also when the interview, the discussion starts, it's just we just start talking, and there's a ticker that was moving, TSRO, that we talk about. So don't worry, nothing is kind of well, it is random, but we understand that it's not going to start off like a normal interview would. We're just going to kind of kick it off right when we hit that record button. But I promise we'll eventually kind of get to the intro and who the Nate Wilson is. But in a nutshell, he's been on many podcasts. He's been on live webinars. He's been on the vlog, for those of you that follow that on the website. So he's assuming you're part of the community. He's relatively well known. He's been around since basically the start. But without further ado, yeah, we're just going to have a nonchalant sit-down conversation with Nate Wilson. Spicy already, boys.
Oh, well, I'm going to get roasted by TSRO while we're on the line.
So am I. Are you at 85 or 95 right now?
I just moved it to 95.
I'm at 85 still. Oh, have you traded it yet?
No, I keep trying, and then Hovinga keeps bothering me, so then I keep like having to close out of it. But I probably would have just got steamrolled anyway. It doesn't.
Yeah, I wasn't really complaining about the difficulties because it gave me more time to stay focused on it. So I got a couple of trades on it. But
oh, you did?
It's sloppy. If you get in
today,
it knows you're in for sure.
Yeah, today is nothing but missed opportunities for me. It's a very, very disheartening day.
Yeah, I don't know. It was kind of goofy though because everything that was moving was higher priced. So you got to always be a little bit like. More careful with it. NVDA, like that one was moving great, but I mean, when the thing trades for $150,
I wasn't even messing with that one. But then it's like the time value of money busted because then like my first order that got filled was on LB, and then that thing ended up being like a turd. You know, it was like to get anything out of it was like just sitting here wasting time, and everything else was moving.
Which one?
LB.
Oh, yeah, that one moved a little bit after hours yesterday. You watched that one out of the gate?
No, but I had put an order out, and it was the only one that got filled. Like, because nothing moved, like, down before, that much. Everything just opened and then kind of went straight up.
Yeah, it did all the gap downs and then the gap ups.
So LB was the only one that obviously opened and then went down, and that's why I got filled. And then all of a sudden I was in. In under 30, so 29.51 or whatever. So it wasn't like I had a bad entry, but it was just one of those things. Like everything else is moving much faster, and it's like, oh great, I got the one that's a turd.
Yeah, what did I traded? My first trade wasn't until I traded Apple pre-market, and then my first trade was until a 941 on SQ.
Oh, and I got out of LB, and then I traded Lowe's.
I tried to get that one, but that I don't know. All of them that were moving were just goofy. Like Target like moves and then stops, and then so you got to be careful because if obviously it's got to be able to get back to your average price. But
right.
Anyways, did you trade it all this morning, Ches?
No, I absolutely did not. I don't have a laptop at this moment until Black Friday or Cyber Monday.
Oh, you're in the market for a laptop?
Yeah, mine croaked about 3 months ago, and this is the first time I've traveled since meetup. So,
for viewers, listeners out there, this is Nate Wilson. Little context: you were on episode 7, I know. One of the first podcasts. Then I was trying to figure out which other ones you were on. You were on the first video podcast, which was episode 107, and you were on a couple other podcasts. As far as live webinars, you've done several of those, including as of the recording of this last week, you did it. So you've been around a little bit, and then you've been on several vlogs from Denver ones to Michigan ones, Baltimore.
Yeah, why do you keep bringing him back is the real question.
True.
that's a valid. Oh, there goes TSRO. There it goes.
Yeah. Well.
Should I? Nope. Moving was at 80. Stopped right there.
Yeah.
Are you moving your order? Or are you done? Are you done?
42.25.
I think I'm gonna go 15.
Yeah, you'll get filled at 15. And
you think?
Stop. Yeah. Last time it did. The last candle. The last time when it broke 41, it stopped at 17.
Oh. Did you trade this one yesterday?
No, remember that happened like right when I was at lunchtime.
Oh,
like
that's right. Yeah,
lunch,
your expensive lunch. I remember that.
And I had an expensive bathroom break when Fox all of a sudden.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It's like, wow. What a day.
You had expensive days for sure yesterday. Let me get my 42.05. Here we go. Let's see if it can make the move. Oh, it stopped right at 14. Look at that.
Look at that garbage.
Canceled.
Yeah.
You literally saw it. Look at the high right now.
14.
Yeah.
Could you guys stop manipulating stocks on the podcast?
Yeah, okay.
We're going to let everyone know what really happens here.
We're going to have to get steamrolled to get in, obviously.
Yeah, no, you have to. Exactly. All right, well, I'm at 45 now.
Me too, yeah.
Well, then we're definitely not going to get in. We're trying to compete against this one. All right,
well, I had already put my order there. So.
That's fine. I'll go
I'm
above.
at 44 with size.
Yeah. Oh, there, it's moving again. I got to remember that, the viewers actually can't see what we're doing here, but all right. I'm at 65 now.
Oh, great. So now then I'll get steamrolled and can't get out.
Yeah, I'll cover right above you. Don't worry. But all right. So this is a welcome back. I'm not quite sure what this is. We just kind of want to shoot the breeze. Although I will say this is not all genuine in the sense of, I don't know what exactly has been going on, but I do think there's some valuable lessons, particularly when to kind of just step away from trading, because sometimes things happen and it's just best to get away from trading. So, I mean, I don't know. It's been probably like a year since we last talked on here, but as far as your strategy is concerned, you're still doing the same thing. You and I trade very similarly, right? You haven't done any major changes or anything?
Nope. And I've actually, I guess I would say, more so just fully realized that that's the strategy that works for me, and have stopped almost doing anything else besides that strategy, just because that's what I find success with. And like when I try to do RVR trades or whatever else, like they don't tend to go in my favor, or like I tend to not follow the plan accordingly because I'm so used to the other one. So I find it just easier to just stick with what I know best.
And how would you describe your trading strategy?
Well, what we were trying to do this the other day on the webinar, I would say it's like an overextended scalping strategy.
And you're just looking for, I say we because, like I said, we trade actually very similarly. Wasn't it last week in the chat room? We posted, do you remember the ticker symbol on that? But basically, our orders were the exact...
Oh, it was TSRO on Friday, wasn't it?
I don't know.
Remember TSRO got really nuts at the end of the day on Friday?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I'm looking at the chart right now. That was a crazy candle on Friday.
And that was when we were, posting all the same orders in like just 1 or 2 seconds apart.
Yeah, and we weren't communicating or anything, but we were just, it was amazing how close the orders were in time, and then some of the orders were the exact same value. So yeah, it's more of a, definitely you're a day trader, short-term fluctuations, and you do work a full-time job, right?
That's correct. Yep. So,
and I guess walk listeners, if they're not familiar, how do you fit, how are you a day trader that fits in a full-time job?
Well, I guess the first thing that's a benefit to me is that I have a job that's somewhat flexible. So I'm able to get into the office and trade from work. So there's no firewalls blocking me or no higher-ups that are watching my every move. So, and actually my boss knows that I day trade stocks in the morning. And he doesn't mind as long as I get my regular work done. But I'm able to get here in the morning a little early before the market opens, answer emails, take care of any like work from the night before that I need to do. And then I kind of get ready, like in the 15 minutes, 10 minutes before the market opens, trade for 90 minutes or so, and then move on pretty much and do my real job work the rest of the day.
I don't know if we've ever covered this. Maybe we have. I just don't remember it. But how did you ever kind of allow for all this to be okay at work? Did you sit down with your boss, or did your boss just catch you doing something and then he had to ask? Or how did, because I can imagine a lot of listeners saying, wow, that's a pretty cool boss. That's nice how he pulled all that off. How exactly did you pull it off? What's the background story on that?
I definitely never had a conversation about it like, hey, is this okay? I never did that.
You sure you didn't threaten him in the parking lot with a shiv or a shank of some kind? Because I kind of feel like that's something you might try to do.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I guess it's just one of those things where it was like I just kind of like, because at the time when I first started, I only had like a laptop, and so work pays for my computer too. So I had a laptop at work, and then like when I first started doing the day trading, then we had like a screen, like lying around the office. So I actually went and got that screen and hooked it up to the laptop. So I had two screens, and I don't even think he noticed when I added two screens. Like, I don't think but the first time we actually had a conversation was I then went out and got like a trading computer built for me, including like two big, monitors. And so then all of a sudden, like, he knew, like he signed off on, the new computer purchase. And then all of a sudden, like, I guess I had the new computer set up with these two big ass monitors. And he was like, what the hell is that? And then I was like, oh, well, that way, like, when I'm doing work, I can have stuff on both screens, but I'm also using it to day trade stocks. And he was like, what? And then he was like, you're going to lose all your money. And then I think he walked out the door.
But I feel like by the time you had that computer built, he was well aware that you were trading stocks and all that. But
yeah, but that was because, but I don't know if we ever had like a conversation about it, but he walks into my office and looks at my computer screen all the time. So I'm sure he already knew because I had the laptop and the other screen set up. But I don't know. And I'm sure he said, what are you doing? And then I just said, oh, it's stock stuff or whatever. I'm learning how to read these candlestick charts or whatever I said. I can't remember exactly, but he wasn't too interested.
Okay.
As long as work is done, he doesn't really care. I mean, he's one of those guys where, he's more worried about what he's doing than what I'm doing.
Right. I wanted to quickly just reminisce with the both of you because I don't know why. I don't know why it's a favorite memory of mine from all this, but it is. But so the three of us were sitting at a pizza place in Denver. Do you remember what that place was called?
Oh man, I remember that Wilson was actually the one that picked it out and made the executive decision because we were being indecisive. But it was right near where we were staying, but I forgot the name of it.
Do you remember, Nate?
Mm-mm.
But you got,
no,
I don't know why, but I remember us sitting there eating pizza, drinking some adult beverages, and and I'm not trying to bash anybody, but we pull out the phone for the group dinner thing's going to be. And I mean, we just start reading reviews. We just start reading reviews about it, and we're all just like, boys, we got to do something. We got to
bail fast.
Yeah. And again, Shirley, he'll probably listen to this. We love Shirley, and that's why I'm even bringing this up because I know he'll take it the way it's meant. But but I just remember all of us like, okay, all right, let's all stay composed here and figure out what needs to happen. And long story short, we changed some things around from a logistics standpoint. And what do you guys think? We made the right call with that?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, considering we were going for the good food. I understand that one place had like shows and stuff like that, but I forgot how many people we had signed up for the dinner. It would have been pretty hectic to try to have a conversation that from what I gathered. But ultimately we all still met up. It was right next door. It was in the same spot.
That's what I mean. It's like we pulled off. Actually, the more I think about it, it was like that was that was actually kind of clutch. How the three of us that made all that work, and I mean,
I'll take spending a couple hours at a brewery over I don't know, what do you call that place?
The biggest restaurant in the world, I guess.
Some shiesty some family entertainment place, like any day.
I think Chez nailed it though. Maybe it would have been decent because of the shows, but when the goal is more so just hanging out and talking,
drinking beer.
Yeah, I don't know if, and I guess there's like a gorilla show or so. I mean, I don't know how easy it would be to talk trading if there's like a gorilla dancing around or something.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about domesticated gorillas dancing around while I'm eating, but to each their own.
Exactly. So, all right, Wilson, I wanna bring this up too because you had some home renovations, or you had. I'm not, and that's kind of pulled you away from the market for a little bit. So I guess kind of I know you stepped away from the market for a little bit, and we've talked about this, and I know you pulled some money out of your account because you figured that might be a better use. So I guess walk us through that part of life / your journey, whatever you want to call it, because I think there are some nuggets of wisdom in there, believe it or not, that maybe listeners could benefit from.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess I don't know how long I've been doing this now, but a couple years. I don't know if it's maybe 3 years or so, but I guess ever since I started, like every now and then I've taken like a week break or something for vacation, or 2-week break for summer vacation or something like that, but never any extended period of time away, and so just, pretty much same old look at the markets every day for a while. But yeah, so then this summer, I actually had, a little bit of water damage happened at the house. I had a door sill rot out, and it allowed some water to leak in and cause some damage on the kitchen, which was right below because I have a deck that goes out the second floor room. So it caused some water damage to the kitchen door, and so I was getting ready to go on summer vacation, and I got an estimate from someone to fix it. And the estimate was like a smaller price. I can't remember exactly what it was. I think it was like $350. What he thought it would be like $350 to just rip out what had gotten wet and replace it. But actually, right before I was getting ready to go on vacation, we kind of started pulling that stuff out, and we realized that a lot more was kind of wet under there. So it was going to have to be a thing where we kind of pulled cabinets off the wall. And so at that point, when I told him I wanted to think about it over vacation. And so at that point I went on vacation, which I knew I was going to take 2 weeks off to go on summer vacation. And over those 2 weeks kind of thought about it, and decided that if I was going to go ahead and rip those cabinets off the wall, that I wanted to go ahead with a bigger kitchen renovation that had always been in the back of my mind that I wanted to do. I just hadn't pulled the trigger on it. And so when I got back from vacation, I decided that I was going to pull some money out of my trading account to renovate my whole kitchen. So obviously that wasn't just a small chunk of change, and my trading account is essentially a form of my savings. I mean, it's a cash account that I've funded with my personal money. So while I do have other money in savings, it's not like I wanted to completely drain all my money for a kitchen renovation over there. And so it just worked out where I thought it made the most sense for me to go ahead and do the kitchen renovation and take some time off from trading, just because I felt like it would be a good mental break. I felt like I kind of was exhausted from it anyway, and had some other stuff going on in the real world. Like I was busy at work. We got a big deal right before I left for vacation. So that was another factor. I knew I was going to be really busy at work. I had a lot of stuff going on right then. So it just made sense to kind of pull the money out, put it into my kitchen, and then, kind of wait to restock the trading account. So I guess that ended up, what did I take? It was a couple months. But then
to the point where people are asking about you. Ches was weeping every day, and it was people had to console him on a nonstop basis.
I mean, let's just be honest. You blew up your account, and then you had to go do kitchen renos for a little while, and now you have an account again. Let's just be serious here.
Okay. Yeah, well, I maybe I could start doing kitchen renovations on the side now. I didn't learn a lot through doing it. I was telling Clay and Nate, the IT guy, I was like, I don't know why you guys think this home renovation thing is a fun thing. Like, I learned.
I don't think it's a fun thing.
I learned that it's not really that fun.
I know, Ches, you've done quite a bit. Are you in the camp of you don't mind doing it, or are you in the camp of let me just figure out a way I can hire somebody to do it?
I used to be in the camp of let me just hire somebody to do it. I've actually had a lot of fun learning from people, mainly because it doesn't cost me too much. I just have to help them out. So I've been learning a lot about it. However, I'm not sure it's something I would say like, oh yeah, I would like to go do that as a job per se. I guess every job is kind of unique and different, and that's where it kind of drives me wild. I like when everything is like the same way and you can kind of standardize stuff, but that's a dream considering everyone's houses are different. So I don't mind working on my own house, but doing it for somebody else, you probably won't catch me doing that.
Yeah. And I think I'm with Wilson. It's I'll just hire somebody. After we flipped our foreclosure when we lived in Kansas City, that was enough of the hands-on stuff for me.
And in this kitchen, I actually did a lot of it myself. I mean, besides like the electrical work, which I had a guy help me out. Like there was a few things that I needed to do professionally, but I definitely did all the demo by myself, and then a lot of the reinstall too. And luckily I did get build a relationship with a really good contractor, which is kind of a rarity. He was a really good guy, and sometimes he was a little slow on when he show up, but when he was there, he did a good job.
Oh, and that reminds me, there was another thing that I think that's what, if I remember and understood the story correctly, it kind of helped push you over the edge of why you need to stop trading, because our strategy out of the opening gates is very, very important. And didn't you say that this contractor, a lot of times you'd have to go to the house and let him in and stuff like during those prime periods?
Yeah, I never knew when he would. That was like one of the big things was I never knew when he was going to show up. Like he would say, okay, I'll be there today. And then like sometimes he would show up before I left for work, which was fine. But then some days he would literally like call me at like 9:50 and be like, I'm on your doorstep. So then I'd have to like run back there and or some days it wouldn't be till like lunchtime. And it would be like, I just never knew when he was going to show up. So I always felt like in the back of my head, like I didn't want to get into a trade because I was nervous that it was going to be the second he calls me and I'm like, okay, hold on a second.
Right. And that kind of brings up the point for anybody is when you do have an actual strategy, well, part of the actual strategy is you're going to have a routine, you're going to have certain certainties, but then when uncertainties creep in this case, when's this contractor going to show up? Is he going to call? When, if, and all that, then those are variables that are introduced into the equation that aren't normally there. And like I said, you can hear the voices that were showing up. It just made him nervous because of all that. And that's, the power of really establishing a strategy is that you'll kind of recognize the voices have a very hard time of approaching you when you have a very cut and dry strategy because, in this case, it's perfect. The voices that were, it just made him feel uncomfortable because of those, dynamics where he just wasn't quite sure. So that was, I thought, very, very mature of you, Wilson. Have you been called mature lately?
They do tell me I'm mature beyond my years.
No, they don't.
I've been referred to that quite often in my life.
Mature? Yeah. No, I was gonna go with the joke, but as I ran it through my head, that didn't make any sense. So I'm glad I didn't say it. But
yeah, obviously you don't think very quickly on your feet.
Ooh,
stand-up comedian is not in your future.
I could roast you all day long, but there's something else I want to. Was I gonna? Oh yeah, earlier because I can see somebody misinterpreting what you said about your trading account being I'm not sure exact quote, but a form of your savings, part of your savings. I guess walk people through what you actually mean by that, because I know what you're not saying is if you're brand new or anything of that nature, just go, grab your savings account. Yeah, I know you're saving that for your kids' college, but just grab whatever. That's not how it works within your personal budget, right? This is money that's not going to put you underneath a bridge or anything if something goes wrong, right? So I guess clarify that for listeners.
No, I mean, yeah, it's obviously money that I have set aside that I could. I mean, you have to be prepared to live without it, obviously, which I could. I'm not saying I would enjoy it, but I could do it. But it's money that again, I've gotten to a point in my life where I would like to try to put that money to work for me, so that way I can continue to build wealth in a way that I feel comfortable and enjoy, and that's what I view. So instead of having that money sitting in a savings account and earning 0.001% interest, or instead of having that cash under my mattress or buried in the backyard in tin cans, I decide to put it in a day trading account and earn a little bit of a return on that money. And and part of the reason I feel comfortable doing that is because I went ahead and got educated and learned, the technical analysis and built a strategy that I was comfortable with. But for people who don't do that, they could put the money in the market in different ways, index funds or mutual funds or whatever else, But yeah, I would just say, in Finance 101, any liquid asset is a form of savings. Anything that you could cash out of, immediately and get your money back is a form of savings. And any kind of, market product is usually that.
So did you get the move? Sorry, Chaz. No. Sorry. Did you get the move?
I was at 95, which I just moved to 25.
I got 85 to 75. Where are you going now? I'm going at 35. 25. What are you at?
25.
I'm at 35.
I was at 95.
You moved it?
I was at 95.
It hit it. 95. You didn't get any. You didn't. It didn't
yeah,
fill
I
you.
didn't get anything, and then I moved it.
Nice. We got to be careful of this because this daily chart 4420 is the 200-day. Did you notice that?
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay. Just want to make sure that you're not getting yourself roasted. Sorry, Chaz. I totally just cut you off, but I blame TSRL because it started to move right when he finished up his sentence. So.
Oh, you're good. I got to pull that up actually.
Yeah, it's a good show.
Oh boy, it's moving.
So, Ches, did you want to take that question or you want me to take it?
I could take it. I mean, Wilson, considering we know that you trade extremely similar to Clay, like spot on, is there any specific time you're trying to be done? I mean, I've seen you in the afternoon sometime, but that's more of a rarity. Do you mainly focus on the mornings?
Yeah. I mean, I usually... I guess when I'm finished up kind of depends on how much work I have for the real job and kind of what the market's doing, but usually around 10:30, like once I see 10:30 on the clock, I stop paying 100% attention to the market. Like I'll start answering emails and kind of doing some other things and just have it open. And so when you see me in the afternoon, sometimes that's just me like killing time, being bored, like trying to take a break from the project I'm working on at work, and I kind of go over to the markets just to see what's going on, or kind of give myself a little distraction to take a break from the real job. But I'm not watching constantly. I would say I watch very, very intently with 100% focus from 9:30 to 10:30, and then my interest levels drop off dramatically.
Yeah, that makes sense. But I have a question for both of you, to be honest. So I've seen you guys talking about, Clay, this is for you as well. I've seen you guys both in the afternoon talking about some setups, probably at about 2 or 3, just probably shy of the last hour of the trading day. Is there a reason you're doing that? Okay, I guess I know you just told me why you're still hanging out, taking a little break from work and whatnot. But is this because, say, the morning was quiet and now you got the itch for some trades, or are you just watching? Because I feel like sometimes you guys trade these and other times you just talk about it and then pat each other on the back for paper trades you never made. So, I mean, I just want to hear your logic for the afternoon sessions.
Oh, man. Calling us out for being armchair quarterback traders. I'll let you take that, Wilson. I mean, why? I'll answer it after you, but why are you... I was actually going to ask you a form of this. TSRO, for example, how did you, because you even knew about it before I brought it up to you. So, I mean, what made you still decide to be watching the markets at this point in the day?
Today?
Right, yeah, to Chez's question,
because I had to get on this stupid podcast with you morons, so I obviously wasn't doing anything else with my life, so I just was looking at the scanner, and that it just kept lighting up green. So then I pulled up the chart. That's literally, I just was sitting here while the IT guy was trying to frantically get this podcast set up because he didn't want to do it earlier like any normal, full-time employee.
Did you have anything else you wanted to unload? Are you good? I don't want to cut you off. I don't want to cut off the rant where you're just throwing everybody. So it was a matter of circumstances. You could have just said that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And go ahead. Go ahead. I didn't know if you needed to punch me in the face a little bit more, or if you're all set.
No, that was more a jab at the bootleg IT guy, who, and I quote, told me to relax at 11 o'clock when I said, "What kind of software do I need for this podcast?"
Well, I don't know. Is that him or is that me?
Well, either one of you both.
I think I told you to calm down.
I mean, it doesn't help that you're using like Netscape and AOL and NetZero. So just saying.
But I was trying to download the program off Napster.
Napster and LimeWire. Yeah, no logic.
Yeah. Wilson was texting me earlier today. He's all excited because the AOL 4.0 disc just showed up in his mail.
The internet on disc. I love it.
Yeah. Do you remember those, Chez, or is that before your time?
Nope, I absolutely remember those. They used to come in the mail too, and AOL was popping off. Yeah.
Oh, that was
my mom. Like, those are not. She was not happy. Was not a happy camper back in the day when we would have the dial-up internet and be in the AOL chat rooms. We were definitely not supposed to be in there.
I just remember, I swear it was like every month, 2.0, 3.0, 3.7. It's okay, but AOL, who bought them? Was that Yahoo?
Yahoo, yeah.
And then who bought Yahoo?
Verizon bought Yahoo, I think.
That's right.
Now.
That's right.
Yeah.
So technically Verizon owns AOL now. Interesting.
I guess.
But
I do. There is someone I know that still has a at AOL.com email address, and they still use it as their primary email address.
That's pretty crazy. I don't know if I definitely used AOL Instant Messenger back in the day, but I don't know if I ever.
Oh yeah, I did that too. High school, college.
Yeah, I had an email. Yeah, exactly. We had, before the Facebook days and all of that. Now, to answer Chez's question, which for me it was totally just a matter of circumstances. It's not like, and I don't know. Now that I think sometimes in Wilson you can weigh in, but maybe I just happen to be around my computer more if it was maybe a slower morning. So that's why I just quote unquote happen to be around my computer. But most times if I'm around in the afternoon, it's just because I'm around. But then that begs the question, I don't know, maybe I'm just around because the morning was slower.
Yeah.
But a lot of times, I mean, with the way, our scanner is set up, the high-low, I mean, you could be doing something totally different. And all of a sudden, you see like just a Christmas tree light up and you're like, whoop, here we go. So, I mean, sometimes it's just a matter of being there and you're not even looking for it.
And I would say that's part of it with me in the afternoon because, like, the scanner is kind of still, even like when I'm doing work, like, since I have two monitors and I only really need one for my job. But so I still have the scanner up so I could see it. So, like, I'll be working on real work, and if it's like, something lights up the scanner, then I'll switch over. So sometimes it's just a matter of, well, I'm at my desk anyway, so it's easy to flip over and just see what's going on.
Yeah, no, I agree. How long do you think it took you? And I ask this based off of, I see it quite a bit with my live trade videos on YouTube. Somebody's like, hey, yeah, I'm brand new to the markets. I've been watching your videos for, I don't know, a month, a couple of weeks, and I got it all figured out. I'm ready to go, which is just pure craziness because, no, I guarantee you don't understand what's actually going on, especially from the free YouTube videos that are out there. I mean, so how long do you think it took you to, nail down, I don't know if nail down the confidence in the strategy or just nail down the strategy as a whole, because you're not the only person, but I would say you're somebody that's definitely you have a strategy, you're confident in the strategy, you're firm in the strategy. It's not like 1 week you're doing this and then 2 weeks later, oh, now you're doing that, and then 3 weeks later you're off trading something else, and then another week later you're back to where you were, but with this little twist. You're very just this. It is what it is. I mean, how long do you think it took you to get to that point?
Maybe as long as 2 years. I mean, it was a while. It was definitely a long time. I mean, even though I would say like I had success, or I would say like it was probably a full 2 years before like I got to the point that I had like all of those feelings that you just described, and like kind of where I am right now. I would say it's definitely 2 years. It was a long time. I mean, it was a long time, and even now, at least now I'm even knowledgeable enough to know there's still pieces of the strategy that I need to do better on. Like we've talked about that, like kind of, our strategy kind of sets itself up where the losers are always a little bit bigger than the winners, and by a little bit they can be a lot bigger, and that's always something that I'm trying to work on, which you kind of have to get in those situations and then really analyze what you did and what you could have done, but work on minimizing just how big those losses are. And so I would say even as far as that goes, I'm still working on it right now, but again, a lot better than where I was at the beginning. And but definitely 2 years before I nailed down, kind of, I can consistently get this strategy right,
Right. And on the whole loss topic, I guess that was probably now 2 weeks ago when you took the $350 loss or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So that one loss there, I mean, how many days or how many trades did that kind of, because usually you're going for what, like 50 or, well, yours in 300 shares, so $45. So I mean, that one trade wiped away how many, technically winning trades?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it all depends. But like that day, remember, I was the one losing trade was 350. That was my first trade of the day. But by the end of the day, I closed the day down $99. So like when, at the end of the day, I only was down $99 on the day. When I woke, came in the next day and looked at the change in value of my account, it was only like $110 with commissions. I can't remember, but it was right around 100. It wasn't even 350. And for instance, I made $110 on one trade today. So again, it was definitely controlled.
Right, but the point being, controlled, great, but still it was bigger than what your wins normally are, and it did wipe away several wins. But because it is a high win rate strategy, like you said, you just stuck to it. You ended up fighting back, and still you had a red day, but only $100. And then today then I know the next.
The next day was like was that the
$900 gain, or was that a couple days later?
That was a couple days later
with PCG. Okay,
that was a couple days later.
Okay, so
but the next day was I was green. I had a $500 day, like the very next day. Because remember, I even posted in the chat room and said, "Well, this wiped out yesterday's loss plus some."
That's right, and I wanted to give you a shout out. You also posted that $350 loss in the chat room too. So I think that's why people. Well, I don't know if they like you. I don't know if that's the right word, but. I think that's why people tolerate you, is because you'll also share your losses. Don't say anything.
Okay.
Yeah, just
don't say anything.
All right. Yeah. We all know here what sorts of things are going through your mind. But So I guess if somebody was new and you're talking to, somebody that's brand new and they said, look, what kind of advice could you give me as somebody that, is confident in a strategy and has found something that works for them? I mean, what can you tell me to do? Of course, education. We'll say that because I don't want this to seem like some sort of prearranged sales pitch or anything. So, I mean, what would you tell that person without, go to claytrader.com. Don't say anything like that.
But so, wait, I guess I misunderstood. Did this person already has a strategy that they're confident in?
No, they're new. They're new.
They're brand new. Oh, okay. What would I tell them? Yeah, so we're skipping the go learn this.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess you can say go learn, but I don't want it to sound like it's some sort of like, you're just helping, because there's people out there that are always going to look to twist everything. So if you say go to claytrader.com, they'll just say, that was a paid placement.
Well, I guess I would say, you don't have to, but put in the effort to learn a strategy. I mean, don't go into the market, kind of throwing darts, and just, kind of doing a generic, I'm going to buy something and then just hope it goes up or whatever. It's one of those things where learn enough about the markets where you can make an educated strategy that has, kind of a thesis that is actually, relevant, that could put you in a winning position. You know what I mean? If you're just going to go into the market half-ass and, you don't really know what's going on and you don't really know what you're doing, then that's the kind of results you're going to get. But if you put in the time, and I'm not even saying, what kind of education specifically, but learn the markets, learn kind of how they work and learn and figure, learn a couple different strategies, because what works for me isn't going to work for you. So I can't even tell them, take this specific clay course, because like I trade differently than Ches does, for instance. And so someone might find that like the way I trade isn't, their brain doesn't work the same way my brain does. So they can't figure it out. But, maybe they have a lot of success with advanced options or whatever else is out there. So I would just say, yeah, definitely be prepared to take the time to learn a strategy and be prepared for that learning a strategy to take a really long amount of time.
Well, that kind of sparks an interesting question here. So obviously, to summarize, you're saying pretty much you're going to need to spend the time, find what works best for you, and practice it. But some sort of education is going to help you kind of cut that learning curve down, or save you from losing 80% of your account before you figure it out, and by that time you have no more money left. Did you ever go down the free education path, anything like that? YouTube, Investopedia, Baby Pips, any kind of free things that you just kind of ran across before you kind of invested in your education, or no?
No, I mean, if you go back and listen to like my first podcast, you can you hear about like how I got started. But remember, my day job is in finance, so like I was already in the investing world
and all that stuff.
Yeah. So I was
but
already.
But also, that's kind of deceiving, because I know you would fully agree. Who cares that you're in finance? Finance degree is worthless in the world of trading. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, but that's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, like, I was already in the world of finance, so I already had exposure to the markets. I had exposure to like fundamental analysis in terms of like publicly traded companies. Like, so I already had exposure to it. Whereas someone who's coming, straight off of like the street, where it's like, whatever, you just graduated from college, you got a little bit of money, and you saw that Bitcoin was going up, and you wanted to buy some. I mean, that's a totally different thing where trying to figure out a strategy. You know what I mean? So what I'm already saying is I already had like a knowledge of like kind of how the markets worked. And then what led me down to this strategy was I learned through that exposure to the markets that I would like to try to learn this side of the market, the technical analysis side of the market. You know what I mean? But there's still a fundamental analysis side of the market. But that's like the path that I would say that exposure helped me even pique my interest in the market. Whereas, I might not have otherwise, even if I was like, had gone a different career path, and was in, well, I don't know. What's a
dance theory?
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, if I was a
Roman wood
art
shoemaker.
art history professor, then I would have probably not been as interested in the stock market.
That's true, and that's fair. And when I don't know, you've told this story so many times. Maybe we'll just say listen to your other past podcasts. But I still love when you got into the penny stocks and when you finally realized that they were garbage, and then you just started unloading on the bid. And what stock was actually? I don't give the story again, because I mean, you've been on so many episodes. I don't know where to send these people if they want to hear this story, but a lot of people that listen to this are in penny stocks, maybe think they have to go to penny stocks. And we're not saying you shouldn't go to penny stocks, but what we are saying is be aware of your surroundings and be kind of aware of actually how penny stocks work. So I don't know. It's a good story. Walk us through your little penny stock adventure.
Yeah, well, we'll go quickly since it's been told before. But yeah, long story. I don't know, but it was, right around that first, what happened was, me and a coworker were discussing the fact that marijuana was going to go legal, and we were trying to figure out ways to invest in the fact that it might go legal before that very first vote way back, however many years ago that was.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is almost like 1.0, whereas the current one that's kind of going on with Canada and all that, this is almost like old news. This was like 2015-ish.
Yeah, whatever it was. And so, like, the very way I came across penny stocks to begin with was, like, literally typed into Google, like, invest in marijuana company or something, very generic, and then it like led me to, some penny stock that was saying like they were, a marijuana company, or I can't remember what they were. Like, I don't even remember what ticker it was, but that was kind of the very first thing. And I think that's actually, it was, it might have had the ticker symbol like POT or something, like green growth, or
I thought it was SPLI or something like
that.
No,
that was later though. So then what happened? So the very first one was like wasn't like, they didn't actually sell pot, but they sold like the grow.
They probably sold bicycles. It's a penny stock company. They sold bicycles, and then all of a sudden said they, the bicycles are made of weed. I don't know.
But or they sold like heat lamps for your marijuana plots or whatever. I can't remember. But so that was the first one, and I bought some right away. Like, not a lot, just like a couple $1,000 worth, and was like, okay, I got some exposure. But then I think what really ramped it up the level, which led me to those other tickers, was then I watched, like, The Wolf of Wall Street came out. That movie came out, and I watched it, and that movie was all about, penny stocks. So then it like led me to the penny stocks, and then I found literally like all the penny stocks I could find that had weed exposure, which was like, that led me to SPLI and I don't know, all the rest of those things. But the one that you were referring to about dumping on was, so then I had started making money on all these penny stocks, and like I would sell some, because I never just held and held and held, so I always sell some, and then but I kept rolling it into other ones, and the one that I had really got built up in was Mine, MINE, and I think they were supposed to have like some marijuana infused like energy drink. I can't even remember what their claim to fame was, but that thing was that was like the biggest gain I've ever had in my life. Like, I had millions and millions of shares because it was a penny stock, and had put like significant money into it, which now looking back seems like absolutely brainless. But anyway, it went way up. And then
what was your peak? I remember you told me you're unrealized. You didn't actually make this much, but at the peak, had you played it perfectly, how much was your account up at one point?
Oh, hundreds of thousands. I mean, yeah.
Why didn't you sell?
Well, because like literally at that point in time, I remember showing my wife like the screen, and it was like, oh, I'm buying a house. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was like, I thought, it was one of those things where like
I get it. I'm just saying that's just the Kool-Aid of penny stocks, is you can be up hundreds of thousands of dollars and be like, nope, it's going higher. It's going higher.
It was like literally, and looking back, and it was one of those things where it actually took it like that particular one went all the way like down again. So never got, like, I got in really early, so it went way up, and I don't remember how high, and then it went really far back down, but never got back to like where I got in. But I probably gave up, let's just say, couple hundred percentage points, back down, and then I still was holding on, and then it went back up, and it never got back to the all-time highs, but it got pretty close, and then it was on the way back down, and I was like, nope, I'm not going to let it get all the way back to where it was. This is the end for me. I know this is garbage.
Hadn't you taken the penny stock course by then, though? So you kind of had that. Okay.
Yeah. So I had already had that was the thing, back in that day, and I also, that's how I started finding this. I then got on Twitter at the time, which is the only social media I have, which was obviously a bad choice. And so I was getting on there, and people would be and I remember putting the cash symbol and then the ticker symbol in just to see what people were writing about. And then they were whatever, news. And I can remember pulling up whatever 10K or whatever the company came out with. And it was they don't have any assets and they're selling shares to pay for operations. This is a garbage fire is all this is. This is. And then I took the penny stock course and I was yeah, I'm out of this. It's going back to zero and I'm not going to be holding it. So then I just literally, and remember, it took me it took 2 days easy, where literally 500 shares at a time. I would hit it.
500,000 shares, you mean?
Yeah. And I would hit it and it wouldn't even fill all of them. And I'd have to sit there and then cancel it and then just hit another 500 shares, whack. And then it wouldn't fill all of them. So then I wait a couple minutes and then cancel it and then whack, and it was just literally just going down every time I whacked it.
So you're literally driving the whole price down because you had so many shares, and therein lies the problem, listeners, especially new, of penny stocks, is just because your account may show a percentage, when it comes time to sell, you can literally move the market like Wilson is describing here, where he's trying to get out and he can't get out unless he keeps lowering his orders, which continues to just crush the price. And to offer a little bit of context, Nate is an investment banker. That's what he does. So when he says he's looking at these filings and he's wow, they don't have any assets. This is not some unqualified person that doesn't know how to read a financial statement. So, penny stocks, mainly what? They don't have any assets. I guess describe a typical penny stock from an investment banking perspective.
Well, yeah, the easiest way to describe it is for anyone who understands income, and their revenue generating business doesn't produce enough income to support the expenses of the operation. So essentially, then once you go out, you borrow money to fund operations, and then the only thing you have in these instances is to put up shares or whatever. So eventually it gets to the point where they're literally selling shares on the open market and diluting their stock just to fund operations, and that kind of garbage. So it's just one of those things where anyone who even knows their own personal finance can understand. Imagine you don't have a job, but yet you have a house to pay for, a car to pay for, and, all these, childcare, all these other things. And the only thing you can do is all of a sudden sell, you just have to, eventually it's going to catch up to you.
You basically have to sell dirt in your backyard, which is worthless. But in penny stocks, that dirt just happens to be the company's ability to generate, something that's not really worth that much.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
but you haven't been back to penny stocks ever since.
No. Once I cleaned that out, then that's when I then funded the day trading account. Actually, so that's where a lot of that money was already in an investing account, and so then I closed out all that stuff, including the gains, and then went ahead and opened a day trading account, switched over to day trading the big boards.
Okay, and. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Well, you got options for a little bit of time, but besides
I didn't
that,
really like it. I didn't. Yeah.
Besides that, though,
but that was kind of when we it was the whole advanced option things where it was I could understand the premise for it, but I just never. I think I had already learned I had already started building the day trading scalping strategy, and I was trying to then like pigeonhole advanced options into that strategy, and that just was like adding too many variables. So I just went back to the day trading scalping.
Different strokes for different folks.
Right.
And Ches, you've been day trading more recently, right? To complement your option farm.
Yeah. So, like I said, I mean, I've said many times before, going into all of this, I always had aspirations. I wanted to sit down at the desk and work for 2-3 hours and then call it a day. So, granted, I had no education when I started with that thesis. Yeah. So now advanced options are my primary source of kind of gains for the year, and then I just have a small futures account which I try to focus on trading the first hour and a half, 2 hours of the day. So yeah, just been day trading and scalping Nasdaq futures for the most part, but obviously not while I'm traveling. But when I'm home, yeah, that's what I try to mainly do. But it's just difficult, honestly. I just feel like the advanced options thing. I mean, there's obviously been times that have been difficult. I mean, I think anything in this venture, it's not all just butterflies and rainbows and unicorns, holding hands and dancing. Definitely had some harder times trading advanced options, but that to me is just so much easier to, I guess, comprehend. I always tell people, you got to do what's comfortable, but to find what's comfortable, you're gonna have to be uncomfortable to start. So yeah, so to me, advanced options are just a no-brainer. It requires very little effort on me. I'm just comfortable. When you're comfortable, you do logical things. When things go against me, I don't freak out. I don't start sweating profusely and trying to remortgage my house to pay for some margin call. It all just kind of fits a lot simpler into kind of my ultimate goals. And getting into trading, the whole thing is I just wanted to have my time back. So advanced options require a half hour to an hour a day, so I can go about my business the rest of the day. But yeah, I mean, I still am trying to work on the day trading stuff. That account is down just slightly, but otherwise, I'm still learning. So that's the ultimate goal, is to have those two kind of forms of income from trading.
Yeah, and having an account down a little bit is much better than, and that account was blown up and it no longer exists.
Yeah,
so,
it's definitely a learning account, and by no means am I trying to blow it up, but it's funded with such small money that, like I said, I've paper traded and I've traded for long enough that I don't need to kind of, going to paper doesn't do it for me. So having money on the line, like I said, I've been here for, gosh, 4 years now, so it's just another avenue of trading that I'm trying to go down. And yeah, I really enjoy futures. I think they're fantastic, and if you got a good knack for technical analysis, and if you have an extra good knack for risk management, because you definitely need it trading futures, I mean, you can make some great return on capital.
Wilson, I think you should get into futures.
No,
I think you should trade 10 lots. I think you should trade 10 lots.
I think this is like one of those things. Like I am definitely one of those people that doesn't have like shiny object syndrome. I'm very content with the little bit of money I make with my strategy, and as long as I continue to do that while to supplement my real life job, like I am very happy.
So simple and to the point. Then that kind of took my, I guess, question was, I was going to ask, do you have any goals or anything you're looking to change or accomplish in the future? But I think you kind of just answered it.
NAVI.
NAVI? All right, let me pull it up. Ooh, I don't know. I don't think it's moving enough. There we go. There we go. Well, look at the y-axis, though.
I know.
1075.
Yeah, that's what I have mine too, but
I think it's already dying out. I don't know. That looks like a $25 bill one.
Yeah, well, that's fine.
Snap daily support on that flush.
Oh, it did.
You might get your 1075 sooner than you think.
There we go. It's moving. Let's see if it can get down there or not.
Go, you turd.
Get down there.
Would you print 86?
1085.
85. 51.
Clay, just market sell a couple million bucks into it, all right? Just come on now. Naked shorting.
Yeah. Canceled 75 at 6, and now back over 11.
Oh, what a turd.
Good eye, but how low did it actually go? 80, so it's still 5 cents off.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Let's see, where are we at? Oh, we're at an hour. All right, well, you want to wrap this up, Wilson?
Yeah, that's fine.
That's fine. You got anything planned for the rest Are you done? Are you even working tomorrow?
No, I don't think so. Is the market open in the morning?
Yeah, my Google Calendar is wrong. Google is flat out wrong. They say the market closes early tomorrow, and then it's a full day on Friday. But I was talking to somebody in the chat room this morning who said the opposite. So then I went and checked NASDAQ's calendar, and
I got
it's full day tomorrow.
Yeah, regular hours tomorrow for the futures. Tomorrow they're actually open until noon, but I mean there's going to be no volume. And then Friday it closes
open till noon?
At 12:15. So
who's open till noon?
Equity products, so probably the S&Ps and NASDAQs. And
so wait, it closes early tomorrow too?
No, tomorrow is regular hours. Tomorrow's full regular hours.
Okay,
yeah, full regular hours.
But did you see on our calendar, Ches, that it says?
I did see that.
So that's what threw me off. So
yeah, definitely wrong.
Yeah. Okay. Come on, Google,
get it together.
But,
well, so I might, I don't know. I might see what's going on for an hour tomorrow or something tomorrow morning. Come in. It depends on what's going on with work. I probably won't leave to go to travel till like tomorrow afternoon, but I'll probably leave the office early tonight. But I don't know. Maybe trade a little bit in the morning. I don't know.
I don't mean to derail you, Clay, but that nicey in our calendar is actually from Nate, IT Nate. So you can just fire him now if you want to fire him on the podcast. I'll take over. The rest
Wait, what's from him? That
the early closure thing? That's from Nate. IT Nate put that in.
Did he?
Yeah, I think it's time to fire him. It's over.
Wow.
Oh my God! Look at this. This is the fourth epic fail of the day for him. It's not even one. We're past strike 3 at this point. How many strikes does he get?
To stick up for him, maybe I told him that, but I had always thought.
Oh, here we
never
go.
Show
Here
weakness
we
like
go.
that, Clay. Never show weakness like that.
I don't know why you would put that in there though, because I don't know why I would tell him that either, because I always thought it closes early on Black Friday.
Want to take a half day?
I don't know. Maybe he's got something going on.
No, he's going to work on his house like always. You know, he totally quit the IT job. He's now a full-time construction worker, and he does the IT work for ClayTrader.com on the side, which is any of you listeners, you understand.
He flipped it.
Yeah, except for he's not collecting a part-time salary, so
NAVI
joke's
halt
on
coming.
you.
Yeah, NAVI halt coming. It's looking like. Or maybe it's just goofy trading now. Anyways, all right, man. Thank you very much for hanging out. What
a scam artist. Nate
I know. I think all viewers know your opinion on the and just
talk
to offer
about
up
penny stock CEO right there in the making.
I got to offer up context because right now, if nobody's ever listened, they're gonna think they're gonna think A, that you're just really a jerk. They're gonna think B, that I run a terrible company, which maybe I do. That's potential, but.
I'm definitely not a jerk.
We're all buddies, okay? If you've watched the vlog, you've seen us all hang out. So I mean, this is, on par. I mean, so don't walk away thinking that Wilson's a total moron and that I'm a total moron. And everybody, I mean, Ches he's come across quite well. He has not gotten the wrath of anybody. But this is all just in good fun. So any final words before we go, Wilson? Appropriately, please.
No. Thanks for having me on for a nice little chat. You know, it's always fun getting on the phone with you guys.
You are more than welcome, and I braced myself. I was just waiting for more editing from Nate's end, but I appreciate that. So, all right, Nate,
Trolls.
Thanks for there we go. That's fine. You're allowed to do that, but although that doesn't give any reference point to anything, but
well, they can if they're an avid fan of your website, then they would have watched the video.
That's true.
Could link the video in the show notes if I can find it.
Yeah, there we go. It's the most recent one. But all right, man. Well, thank you for hanging out, and we'll be in touch.
All right. Have
cool.
a good one.
Before you go, though, as listeners, a final few things before I forget. First off, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to click that like button, but also explore the rest of the channel. It's not just these podcasts. There's live trade videos. There's the vlogs that, as I alluded to, Nate was a part of. And there's lots of other things on the channel, so make sure to check that out, and hopefully you ultimately decide to subscribe. If you're listening on iTunes or any of the other podcast players, be sure to subscribe. And especially on iTunes, if you could leave us a rating, that helps us out quite a bit. So even if you never participate at all, never purchase anything, and just simply listen, like I said, that is definitely appreciated, a simple review. And finally, if you're listening at claytrader.com on the show notes page, and make sure to first click that share button, but also if you have questions, comments, suggestions, whatever, down below on that page, there's a comment section area. And, you can make any comments right there. And we do read, we do reply. We kind of pride ourselves on being as interactive as possible. So, definitely look into that. But thanks again to Nate Wilson. As always, thanks to our esteemed co-host, Ches. And thank you as listeners. We'll see you back next week.
This has been the Stock Trading Reality Podcast. Thanks for taking the time to hang out. To learn more about Clay and the Clay Trader community, including the trading team, premium training, and more, visit claytrader.com.